Alrighty, coming to you from Macomb City Hall. It's May 22nd, Friday, the Friday at the beginning of Memorial Day weekend here. And this is our most recent COVID-19 update from Macomb and McDonough County. We'll start off with the most recent information from the McDonough County Health Department regarding where we're at as far as the exposure and the positive cases in the county. So since they started tracking this, there are currently a total of 76 positive cases in McDonough County with, as we mentioned when we were speaking with you last, there are a total of 4 deaths. So again, our condolences to those family of those victims, and as we move forward. There are currently 39 people reporting total recovery from their experience with the disease, and the health department takes a great deal of time to share with what that actually means. No fever for 72 hours, improvement in respiratory symptoms, and at least 10 days have passed since the last symptoms were first realized. So again, those 76 total, 39 in recovery. Speaking of that, there is some additional information we want to share with you today. First of all, many of you may already be aware that a week from today on Friday, May 29th, we'll move into phase 3 of the Restore Illinois plan. So there have been some modifications in that in the last 24 to 48 hours, and that you should see many of the local restaurants and bars, for example, will be able to enjoy operations outside. And we here at City Hall have taken a great deal of time in the last 2 days in setting up the mechanism for many of those bars and restaurants to access not only in the downtown area, but not only to access sidewalk opportunities to move patrons out there, serve patrons meals, drinks, things of that nature. We went to a great deal of effort, and we're glad to be able to do that, reaching out to those business owners and getting them prepared and letting them know what we're willing to do to allow those activities to occur out in not only the sidewalk, but possibly in parking spaces directly in front of those businesses. We will get many of those details out publicly here in the next, likely probably the first of next week, next Tuesday, with the anticipation that those will be in place and those businesses will be able to take advantage of that on the 29th when those new next phase of this Restore Illinois plan goes into effect. It also has some other implications on other businesses in a positive way and getting more business activity going. All retail will be allowed to open up next Friday. Barbers, beauty salons, spas, things like that. There are guidelines, and most of those guidelines are in the final stages of being formatted both by the local health department and the Illinois Department of Public Health. And those businesses that are impacted will get that information, and will act as a conduit for that as well. Those of us here in City Hall, my office, the Office of Community Development, the Downtown Development Office, we're all in and trying to facilitate as many of those businesses that want to take full advantage of all those new opportunities as we can. We want to be in a position to fully support them, take away some of the bureaucratic red tape on a temporary basis, and move forward. So we're grateful to be able to do that. Some other things we want to share with you. The McDonough District Hospital continues to offer the drive-through testing for COVID-19. That will continue this weekend. The hours for operation of the nurse hotline, again, there's no doctor's order required, but they are asking that you coordinate, if possible, your time for entry into the drive-through by calling the nurse hotline. That's on your screen now. Those times through Monday will be, again, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. for the nurse hotline. But over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and then again Monday, the drive-through will only be open from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, which is Memorial Day. Otherwise, it'll be 7 to 7, their normal hours. And again, while we're on the hospital, I think the message that MDH is trying to get out is a very important one, and that's that if you have, for whatever reason, been putting off screening, or you're having some medical issues that you've been I'll say, concerned about going and seeing your primary care physician, they very much would encourage you, we would encourage you, the health department would encourage you, that really you need to be confident in going out to MDH or interacting with your primary care physician. They've taken great pains in making sure that their work areas, those areas that you'll be entering, are clean, sanitary, your risk of exposure is extremely limited, and you should not be putting off any issues that you're having medically for fear of being exposed to COVID. I cannot underscore that enough. Please don't put your overall health at risk because you may be concerned about the ability to interact with your primary care physician or the ER for that reason. Just tell you on a personal note, I had a trip to the ER myself 2 weeks ago Sunday, was treated excellently, got excellent treatment. In for 3.5 hours, my experience was extremely positive, and you know, I'm dealing with my own health issues. Nothing to be worried about. I'm fine, but I would share with you that from my own personal experience, there's nothing more important than getting your health taken care of, and don't put anything off for fear of COVID. They're prepared, they're willing, and they're able to help you. So please. Remind yourself that if you put off screening or blood tests or anything like that, please don't let your fear of this virus override your general well-being and medical health. So enough said on that. And kind of on a similar line, the Mississippi Valley Regional Blood Center is now in a position to take convalescent plasma donations. So, for example, those 39 individuals that are already have been exposed to the virus and are in a position that they now have likely antibodies. The information for the Mississippi Valley Blood Center is listed here. You can make an appointment or talk to them about your ability, even if you're are not one of the local patients, but you have been exposed somewhere else and you're now in the Macomb area. They're willing and able to take your donation of convalescent plasma. That is one of the treatment options that's out there for folks that are exposed and are critically ill. This is a legitimate option for the treatment of those folks. So again, that Mississippi Valley Regional Blood Center information is on your screen. This weekend is obviously Memorial Day weekend. It's a time that traditionally is the start of the summer season, but more importantly, it's an opportunity for us as a nation to remember those that have given the ultimate sacrifice for the freedom that we all enjoy. I would encourage you to, as you go out and engage in your Memorial Day traditions and visiting the graves of those fallen, that you please do that. And again, I know you'll be taking all those precautions about social distancing and all that, but again, we're in a large cemetery and it's outdoors. It should be reasonable for us to be able to expect to go out and engage in that activity. But also a little extra maybe this weekend, and while remembering those folks that gave their sacrifice, think about those victims of this virus that have perished not only here locally, but across the state, across the nation, and indeed across the world. To that end, this would normally be the first weekend where we would be displaying the flags of love. Although there was information that was sent out earlier today that that's not going to take place, I would assure you that there will be a display of our flags of love. It'll be slightly modified in a good way. I think there likely will be fewer flags, and this was a combined effort between the Flags of Love Committee and trying to get a display, but be cognizant of a whole bunch of volunteers wanting to come up. So there's no need for volunteers. There will be a display. It will be slightly modified, and the one good thing about it is I think you'll see it up for a longer duration this week. And one of the other things that played into this decision about the Flags of Love is that, unfortunately, and we're going to get to more of that in just a minute, there's a prolonged chance of rain starting this weekend, and quite honestly, all the way through the following week. So, as you know, that's rain is a no-go for the Flags of Love. But again, a slight modification. No volunteers necessary. There will be a Flags of Love display, somewhat modified, and then again, it'll likely be up for a considerable amount of the weekend, which should be a plus. As we're talking about the weather, There is no severe weather forecast for this weekend, but in checking with the emergency services and disaster folks that have been knee-deep in this COVID pandemic, they also want to remind us that in spite of the fact there is no severe weather forecast, there is rain forecast most of the weekend, not all weekend, but on and off, where there could be an opportunity for substantial downpours that would create localized flooding, either in streets or in streams and things like that. So as we would expect, you're going to be traveling this weekend, whether that's to the cemetery or whatever, wherever the case may be. Just be careful as it relates to the potential for some, not severe weather, but the potential for downpours that could lead to flooding. Again, Memorial Day weekend, start of summer, an opportunity to move forward to the next phase in this Restore Illinois plan next week. I think we have some positive trending here. And we just ask folks to hang in there and remember that we are all trying to get through this together. Thank you, and we'll talk again soon.